Jose Segura, SMEA President. Welcome to another episode of Fireside Chat with the President. Thanks for joining me. Okay, let's get started. We've got a few things we want to cover. Let's start with educator appreciation or teacher appreciation. Now, we know that last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and then this past Wednesday, May 12th, was the California Teacher Appreciation or Educator Appreciation Day. And so we wanted to make sure that this day didn't go by, this week didn't go by, this time didn't go by without acknowledging just how much you all are appreciated. Really just every single thing you do, especially during this last year. I mean, it's just been insane. And so if nobody's told you yet or you never get tired of hearing it, we appreciate you. You are appreciated. Every year, SMEA does a teacher appreciation gift, and so this year is no different. Although we did do something a little bit different this time. And so what I want you to do is make sure you go back to the email that this video was attached to and read the write-up that's there for this particular item. It really talks a lot about what we decided to do and how we decided to do it. But basically, there's a company called Unite to Light, and it's unite2light.org. And Unite to Light is local. They're out of Goleta. Folks got together there and they created a solar-powered light, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But one of the reasons why they did this is because they realized that there's a big chunk of the world that does not readily have access to electricity. So when you think about things like students in the winter months, they're home reading, they're home doing their homework, and they have lights on. But folks who live in these developing nations don't have that access. So when the sun goes down, their choice is either to sit in the dark or to use things like kerosene in order to light their space. And if you ever used a kerosene lamp, you know that they're inherently dangerous because it's a flame over a fuel source. Can be expensive because it's a consumable, right? And also gives off toxic fumes. So when you use it into an enclosed space, it's like living with a smoker, basically. And so they created this thing they call it a Luke light, and it's this really cool solar-powered light that gives off a great amount of illumination. It allows you to do things that you wouldn't normally do because you don't have the light to do it, and it's super durable, waterproof, dustproof, shockproof, all these really great things. And so here's what we did. This company is more of a philanthropic company, so what they do is they sell these lights, and you can do a buy one, give one program. So essentially when you buy a light from them, they donate a light to someone in a developing nation who doesn't have access to electricity. And so what we said was, well, we want these to go to students. We want kids to have these and have access to these. And so I'll show you the light in a minute, but we ended up hooking up with a local family here in Santa Maria who does these missionary philanthropic trips out to developing nations. And they've agreed to actually take the donated lights to a developed nation and directly hand them to students so that none of the product gets lost in the process. And so for every light that we purchased that's going to go to you all, our members, there's going to be a one-to-one that's going to be offered to a child of school age in an emerging nation. Okay, so let's take a look at the product real quick. So here it is. This is the box that's going to come in. They will be delivered to your site. It's not very big. It looks bigger when I hold it closer and looks smaller when I pull it back. All right. There you go, right? There you go, depth perception. Okay, so in this box, by the way, nice little graphic on the back. It shows you an illustration of the light, tells you a little bit about it. It's all right there. Pop it open. In here, you're gonna have a little thank you card. You'll get one of these so you can read it on your own. Put that over there. And then the light itself isn't very big, but it's definitely powerful. So this little light, this is the solar panel here. Here is your power on and off button, and then the light itself is on this really durable, flexible line that actually swivels here at the base, so you can pop it up. So if you're using it on a desk, so for you and me, we live in a first world nation. We have access to electricity. If you're watching this video right now, it's because you have access to electricity. So something like this would be great for reading at night while you're in bed without having to bother anybody around you. It's great to keep when you go camping, keep it in your RV or your tent or the back of your rig for emergencies. And on a full solar charge, this light will run for 8 hours. That's right, 8 hours, which is awesome. And so the flick of a button, light comes on, there it is. The flexible hose is great because you can lock it in to the side, creating downward light. You can hang it from a space, say you're working in your garage or in your car. You have a flexible light here right around your neck. You can hold it like a flashlight when you're walking. And so there's a lot of uses for this cool little light. Like I said, one full solar charge on this bad boy is up to 8 hours of light, which is just amazing. And so each of you is going to get one of these. They're going to come to your sites next week. We're going to use our reps to distribute them. So please look forward to this. And we're super excited not only about bringing you this product, but also the idea that we are also donating one light for every member to students in an emerging nation. So we're super excited about that. Go ahead and, like I said, go back to the email this video was attached to, and you can read the write-up that goes along with this. It gives you a lot more information than what I was trying to do right now. So let's move on. Next. Normal. And so I tried to put it into writing the best I could. So if you want to go back to the email that this video was attached to and read the text that I put there, it's probably going to be much more succinct and much more organized than what I'm about to say right now. But basically, it's this idea that somehow normal is bad. And we've been hearing about this a lot lately, right? Folks talk about normal in a very derogatory way. And for example, we'll hear things like, well, we're not going back to normal, and we don't want normal, and there's no way we can go back to normal, and there's, and just as if normal is inherently a negative thing. We hear this from the President of the United States all the way down to the superintendent of our district, who has repeated this multiple times to me, that there's not going back to normal. And it usually comes up when somebody says something to the effect that, I can't wait to get back to normal, or what's our normal going to look like, or what's the new normal. And really what I wanted to share is my thoughts about, well, what's normal? Like, I get it, right? When folks like our superintendent or Melissa Dutra say, we're not going back to normal, or we know too much now to go back to normal, I get it. They're talking about the inherent inequities that this pandemic has really shown a light on. Folks who are disadvantaged, students who live in poverty, students who live in multi-generational homes or multi-family homes, students don't have proper access to transportation or broadband, or maybe even things like consistent electricity. There's an inherent inequity there, and it's difficult to say that with a straight face that wasn't a problem before the pandemic. It was a problem then. We just didn't notice it as much because our kids were in school where we felt like we could protect them. And when they're learning at home for the last year, a lot of these social inequities really came to light. On top of that, we know we have these real serious social justice movements right now. We're talking about equity, and we're talking about things like discrimination and racism. Those are real things for our families, real things for our community, real things for the cities, the towns, the states, the nation that we live in. We get that. Those are big systemic issues, and they definitely need to be addressed. And I don't think there's anybody with a social conscience who wouldn't say that that's true. But when I talk about normal, when you talk about normal, when our students and our own children at home talk about getting back to normal, they're not talking about returning to a time when we just hoped inequities would go away, hoped that discrimination would go away. We're talking about the normal of having a regular school day, of having a schedule that we can follow, of having recess at a specific time, about being able to play on playground equipment with our friends, about sitting in a crowded lunchroom having a hot meal with our peers, the normalcy of riding the school bus or walking to school every day, the normalcy that school brings to all of our families in our community. And for parents, it's the normalcy of dropping your students off at 7:30 in the morning, picking them back up at 3 o'clock. It's the normalcy of being able to go to work and know that your kids are somewhere and they're being cared for and they're being loved and they're being protected and they're being educated by folks who care about them. That's the normalcy that we want to get back to. So when we talk about normal, that's what we're talking about. And I don't think there's anybody who doesn't want that normal to occur. And so those folks who say that we're not getting back to normal, and they talk about normal as being this negative or derogatory thing, they really need to think twice about what they're saying. Because in this broad statement of not going back to normal, they are dismissing the normal things that bring us joy, that bring us hope, that provide us comfort, that give us a reason to want to continue to go to school, to be part of an educational system, either as an educator, as a student, or as a family member, or a parent. These are important. So we want to get back to the normal of students and staff and even administrators on our campuses working collaboratively to move public education forward. We want that normal. And so that's really what I wanted to share about. We hear about it. We hear folks saying, so next time you hear someone say, well, we can't go back to normal, ask them to clarify, because there's a normal that we all want back. And that's the normalcy of having schools that are open and accessible to all of our families, to all of our communities. And even if that means having some kids who are going to continue with distance learning, that may be a new normal for them, right? And that's okay, because that's a choice that some families are going to make. Right now, there wasn't a choice, or at least in this year, there wasn't a choice. We were all just forced to do it. And so let's get back to normal. Let's get back to the normal that we all love, that we all enjoy. Let's get back to the normal of working with our children, seeing the smiles on their faces, having conversations with them, reading their body language and looking them in the eye and having serious conversations and giving them opportunities to have moments with us and with their classmates that they're going to carry with them on through their life and that are going to be special to them. And so, so let's get back to normal. All right. And so that was that. Now, next thing I want to talk about is the rally. So we had this rally on Wednesday. I don't know if you heard about it. We had a few hundred of our close friends out there, and it was awesome. We had so many members. It was unbelievable. If you go back to the email that this video was attached to, you'll see a link to our Facebook page, our public Facebook page. Please click on that. There's tons of pictures and short videos from the event. So if you didn't get a chance to be there, take a look at all that. If you were there and just really want to see a broader perspective of what was happening, please take a look at all that. There's also links to media coverage of the event. Actually, there's some links to media coverage of that event, plus general media coverage about our current circumstances. So click on those links, read articles from the Santa Maria Sun, Santa Maria Times, KCOI, just really great coverage overall about what's going on in our district. And I believe that all translates into a lot of great support from our community, from our families, from our students, and of course from folks in education across our area. We had the president of Lucia Mar, Cody, he was out there with us, Cody King, and then we had the president of the Orchid Educators Association, Monique Segura, she came out, and so we're having support from a lot of other local organizations, which is awesome. So super excited about the whole thing, glad the whole thing went the way it was, the way it did. I thought it was great. And so we also gave away prizes, and we said we're going to give away prizes. And so what we did, we took the sign-up sheets and we did a random drawing. We chose 10 names. Each of those 10 people will receive a $20 Target gift card. It's going to come to you through text message tomorrow, so check your phones for that. If you want to know if you're a winner, go back to the email this video is attached to. You'll see a list of the 10 winners as well as the sites that they come from. All right. Thank you. That was awesome. Keep putting those signs in your windows. If you don't have a sign for the window of your car, or if your sign just got mangled because you were just so energetic and enthusiastic with it on Wednesday, let me know. Come by the office. We have signs there. If you want to send somebody from your site over to the office after school to pick up some for a bunch of you, please just arrange that with me and we'll make sure it happens. And the last thing we got for you today is PD for Me. Our PD for Me will continue through the end of the year. We have our exercise classes on Mondays and Fridays, yoga on Wednesday, no hiking group this week. We'll have hiking group again next Monday. All right. Hey, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate it. You have a great weekend and we'll talk to you all soon.